Hi guys, Tracy here. I'm going to talk about markers today by popular demand. And so what I wanted to do today was share with you guys my opinions on my markers that I've tried and tell you specifically what my favorite markers are for outlining, because I've had several questions about that lately. And so these are my American Crafts precision pens. I'm not sure if you can see that with the glare. But these are my favorite pens right now. The only problem that I have with these pens is that they have different widths. They come in a package of 5 because you get 2.03s. So I just have 4 here because I didn't want to show you a double. And the thickness of the marker is way down here at the bottom, and all the markers look the same. So I've taken washi tape and I've labeled them. I've kind of put numbers for the widths on them, and then the one that isn't labeled is my 0.05. I don't use that one as much, so I just know that that's what that one is. And I also use different patterns of washi tape so that I know which one to grab without even having to kind of like look for the number. So that helps me grab it when it's kind of sitting in a pile of markers. I know which one it is. And so I'm going to show you guys the differences between these, which are my main journaling and outlining markers. So I'm going to just show you a little sample. I'm going to come in a little bit closer. Okay, so, I should start with 0.01. And this is what the tips look like on these markers. So they have like a little metal barrel and then a little piece of felt. It's hard tip. So 0.01 American Crafts. Okay. And then this is the 0.03 AC. They're all the same kind. I'm just labeling them differently to be thoroughly confusing. Sorry guys, I'm not doing that on purpose. I wrote the wrong thing the first time. 0.05 American Crafts precision pens. And the last one is the 0.08 AC precision pen. So I will hold that up for you guys so you can see what they look like. So what I love about these pens is that by buying one package of pens, you get a whole variety of different widths. I often will use these two together to outline so that I get 2 different widths of markers. And I often use 0.03 for most of my journaling, although lately I've been using 0.08 for the journaling that I do in Project Life, just so that it shows up a little bit more, because in Project Life, journaling tends to be spread all through your project a little bit more, so I like it to really show up, whereas when I'm doing a whole bunch of journaling all in one spot, I'm more likely to use the 0.03 just because it's kind of it's the one that I like the best for that. So those are my main outlining markers that I use, and I thought I would also mention this Faber-Castell Pitt pen, which I often use for broader tipped outlining. So I will show you this one. This is the brush tip Faber-Castell Pitt pen. And so you'll see that it's not a great journaling pen, but it is fantastic for doing bold outlines on. So, and it came in a set of 4, including a fine point, a super fine point, and a medium point. And these have similar tips to the American Crafts precision pens, and they'd probably make great journaling pens as well. I tend to use these on mixed media pieces, and so I like to keep them just for mixed media, because sometimes the tips of pens that you use in mixed media, they get kind of gooped up with paint if you don't wait long enough. I'm not very patient with drying stuff and stuff, so I just keep these just for mixed media, but and so I can't really compare. I'm sure they'd make great outlining tools as well, and journaling pens, but I don't use them for that. I tend to use these ones and this one for the bold. And then I thought I would also mention, I don't use it all that much, but I have this pen, which is a .005. So it's a very fine, and it's made by Prismacolor. Prismacolor Premier is the name of the brand on this pen. And it has, I'm just going to put it above the .01 because it's even finer. .005 Prisma Premier. And it has the similar type tip to the other pens. And so that's how it compares to the .01. It's very, very, very fine. It's good for outlining teensy tiny things because if it's so small and you're using a .01, you can it'll fill up the whole thing. So it's nice for outlining teeny tiny things. So all of these pens that I've talked about so far, which are these ones, are really great for, so the American Crafts and the Faber-Castell Pitt pen and the Prismacolor, they're all really great for outlining and journaling on plain paper. But if you have a slick surface, like a lot of chipboard pieces have a shiny coating on them, I don't think this is going to show up on my video camera, but this is a piece of chipboard that has that shiny coating. And so what happens if you write with a regular marker on it like that, what happens is, can you even see that? I don't think you can. There you go. So what happens is when I run my finger across that, it gets totally smudged. Oh, there, you can see the slick surface now. So again, it smudges off. And this will never dry. Like, it will always smudge, even if I waited like 5 minutes. So for slick surfaces, you do need a different kind of a pen. I'm just going to go out a little bit. I've got too much white, I think, on my surface for my camera to focus. Same thing with the Pitt pens, by the way. They will also smudge on a slick surface. I'm getting my fingers all dirty now. So what you need for a slick surface is a marker that's designed especially for it. I typically use these Staedtler permanent Lumocolor pens. I love these. I have a bit of a nostalgic attachment to them because I have used these since the early 90s when I was just starting university, and I had to do a lot of overhead presentations for a neuropsychology class that I took, and you had to like show overheads, and we had to like color in different parts of the brain and stuff. So I had a bunch of these, and I turned to them again when I was looking for slick surfaces. So you'll notice that I can write on this, and it does not. Even if I try to smudge it right away, it does not smudge. So these are great for writing on any kind of slick surfaces, whether it's acetate or overhead transparency paper, or on the outsides of your page protectors, or if it's glossy surfaced paper or embossed paper or anything like that. These are great for working on. So for example, when I line the Heidi Swapp Color Magic things that have the embossed areas on them, I will use these markers, because if I used one of these, it would only outline on the non-embossed part, so I'd have like a dashed line if it was the striped thing, if that makes any sense. So so these markers are really great for slick surfaces, and I also pulled these ones out because I wanted to mention that they're also great for slick surfaces, and they're very widely available in scrapbooking stores. These are more in office supply stores and art stores. These ones here you can order like probably at 2Ps and scrapbook.com and those sorts of places. I think I got these at Studio Calico, but I don't think they stock them anymore. And so these slick writers work just as well on slick surfaces. I have them in medium point, and so obviously it's going to be, and it also doesn't smudge. So it's obviously a wider point than the Lumocolor. The Lumocolor come in fine and medium. I just have them in fine. So, and the Lumocolor also come in a variety of different colors. There's some in here. I'm just a fan of the Staedtler pens, so I have a lot of them in different types. So those are the markers that I use for outlining. If you have any questions or want to know about any other markers, I can do my best to tell you. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to mention before I stopped was that this ZigWriter pen is really great for outlining as well, because it has a fine point on one end and it writes like this, and then it has a broad point, a bullet point on the other end, and it looks like that. So this is a great option for outlining and journaling. Like you can outline in the broad one and journal in the finer point, or you can outline both in the finer point. I have a hard time getting, I used to use the black one of these all the time, but I couldn't find it. They carry it, but they're just always out of stock at my Michaels. And so that's why I switched over to these, because these are a lot easier for me to find. You might notice that I also have these brown ones alongside of it. I don't like these at all. They are the yuckiest color of brown that I've ever seen. Just look. I don't think I've seen such a yucky color of brown. Let me choose a broader point so that you can really appreciate the yuckiness. Yeah. Yeah, so this stuff here is all those American Crafts precision pens in the brown. It's a very yucky brown, as opposed to this, which is a really nice, it's almost like a chocolate brown. That's like, I don't even want to say what that looks like. It's poop brown, to be honest with you. It's really gross. So anyways, I thought I'd share my ideas about markers with you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and take care.